looked back.
And Tom's point is not lost on Donald Trump either. He just tweeted, professional anarchists, thugs, and paid protesters are proving the point of the millions of people who voted to make America great again. So obviously he's going to make some hay out of this. There is another way of doing it. We saw the Women's March a couple of weekends ago, where you had millions of people out in the streets. We have this morning Travis Kalanick, the CEO of Uber, resigning from Trump's advisory board, not because people were smashing the windows of Starbucks, but because people were putting financial, economic pressure on them.
Well, a lot of young people come to me and say, I'm just outraged by what's going on. I said, rage is not a policy. That's my advice to them. You've got to figure out what you want to do. For example, there's going to be a big pushback about Judge Gorsuch on the part of the Democrats. They're going to make that one of the testing places for them. The fact is that this man has a very distinguished background in the judicial world. He has a doctorate from Oxford. I have friends in the federal judiciary who don't agree with his philosophy, but say there is not a better judge in the federal circuit right now than him. So why pick that as a fight? Because who are you going to get next? And what issues are you going to raise, given the reality of where the Democrats are at this moment?
And honestly, I think to that point, I think if the Democrats come out and push back on absolutely everything and say, no, none of this is acceptable, they lose their credibility. Pick your fights, pick your battles wisely. And then you have the authority to say, no, we're standing on principle. Betsy DeVos is not right for education secretary, instead of we're just going to oppose anything they do. Well, they historically have not been as good at opposing just anything the Republicans do in the same way that Republicans have been towards the Democrats.
They were playing by the Republican playbook, frankly, for the last 8 years. And the other thing is, the Democrats have a lot of reconstruction to do of their own party, and that's what they ought to be thinking about, and that's where they should be beginning. They should be out in the middle of America saying, what do we need to know from you, rather than sitting in Washington re-electing Nancy Pelosi after they lost the House 3 different times.
Tom, I'm sorry, David Ignatius